Good afternoon. Thank you, Fred and Michael. A culture of philanthropy is an organizational culture that values philanthropy and fund development as a critical part of an organization's mission and success. In a culture of philanthropy, everyone in the organization has a role to play in fundraising, and today we have an expert to share additional details about creating a culture of philanthropy. Allie Sterling is president and founder of Allie Sterling Philanthropy, a national consulting firm that helps nonprofits, individuals and families, corporations, and foundations meet their philanthropic goals and positively impact their communities. In 2022, Allie presented multiple workshops at our network summit in Dallas. They were highly rated, and she's currently working with a number of our chapters. This year, Allie Sterling Philanthropy became a network partner of First Tee. Thank you, Allie. Allie serves on various local, regional, and national boards and proudly teaches a course on women and entrepreneurship and corporate social responsibility at Bowling Green State University. In 2020, Allie published a book about her experiences transcending personal and professional barriers to becoming a female entrepreneur. Allie tries to spend her time between Ohio and South Carolina. She enjoys spending time with her family, playing tennis and traveling, and finding what she would say small ways, I would say big ways, to improve the human condition. Please join me in welcoming Allie Sterling.
Thank you, Guy. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here with everyone, and also a thrill for our firm to be a network partner, so thank you for that. How many of us would say that we give in order to receive recognition? Probably very few, right? However, the truth is, and the data supports the fact that recognition is a powerful motivator for giving. Why might that be? Because it is and sends external signals to others that philanthropy is alive and well within our organizations. And as a way to kind of illustrate that, I'll share a story of mine. It happened many years ago. An early client of mine was attempting and finalizing their very first campaign. It was actually their first foray altogether into philanthropy. And so it came the time for me to discuss with them the donor wall and what kind of wall they would want, et cetera. And they looked at me and said, no wall. That's not why we do this. We do not need the recognition. We do not need a wall. And I respectfully pushed back a little bit to challenge them, and I said, okay, with your permission, would it be okay for me to talk to a few of your donors and fellow board members just to kind of test this collective we thought process? And they said, absolutely, because we could be wrong. So I spoke to a few individuals, and I didn't ask them if they wanted a donor wall to see their name. Instead, I said, how do you think your fellow board member or fellow donors, how do you think they'd feel about a donor wall? They said, oh, yeah, I think they'd really like a donor wall. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So we had a donor wall. We made it very custom, however, because it was important to them that all the names were the same font size. No one was, getting more attention than one person over the other. So dedication day happens, which is super exciting, and it was wonderful to see this, wall unveiled, and all these people rushed towards it, and to see their name, right? Because they were proud of what they had accomplished, and they started on that path of creating this culture of philanthropy. And I share this with you because that was over 15 years ago, and that organization today is raising 50% of their annual budget via private dollars or philanthropy. So, it does take a little while, but it now represents something to them that is incredibly meaningful, and they had to get a little bit outside of their comfort zone. in order to do that. Oh, too far. There we go. Sorry. Okay, philanthropy. So what is it? I like to describe the term philanthropy as the art and the science of teaching the joy of giving. The joy of giving, right? But this does not happen by chance. This takes a lot of work. And it takes coaxing as well, and it takes reinforcement through recognition and through stewardship. But also, more importantly, through structure and through systems. So structures and systems can be our best friends in this situation, right? And I would encourage and chapters to do as much as they can related to this notion of systems and structure related to recognition. How are we welcoming new donors? How are we ringing a bell? Are we celebrating them? Are we calling them to welcome them into the family? Are we sharing their names within board meetings so people know, of course, if not anonymously, if someone wants to be anonymous, but other than that. So we're sharing with our board members who our donors are. Are we recognizing their gift, their first gift, on the anniversary and subsequent anniversaries of their giving? What small ways can we create to create this culture of philanthropy? And then the question is, well, who teaches this joy of giving? Who is responsible for this within the team? And we know the answer, right? It's everybody. It's everyone's job description to be embedded within that, and performance reviews. And that's staff and that's board members alike. We have to hardwire this into our chapters in order to really embed it within our DNA. So some might ask, okay, this sounds great. What's the return on investment of this type of commitment that we're going to undertake or that we are going to continue to enhance? That right there, that's the return on investment. This is the marketplace of philanthropy. $557 billion charitably exchanged hands last year. And there is opportunity to carve out more market share for our chapters and for this movement. It takes a couple things, though. It takes first a shift in mindset from a place of scarcity to a place of plenty. Resources, opportunities are not scarce. They are abundant, as evidenced by this graph. The other thing it takes is an intentional shift in prioritizing individual givers. 3 out of 4 of $557 billion was given by individuals. So this notion of how do we engage, how do we develop deeper relationships and experiences with individuals has to be a priority and has to be a shift for our chapters to create in order to be more competitive and gain more market share in this amazing marketplace. So how do we do that? How do we enhance and expand our relationships with individuals? And this is a framework here that I think we're used to and we're familiar with, right? The idea of individuals wanting to share their time, their talent, their treasure. We threw in ties because that's so valuable, right? The idea of networks and spheres of influence. And then certainly a testimony, right? Because individuals want to be ambassadors, they want to be evangelists, they want to be out there. But I'll tell you a little secret. There's a couple other things that are important if we're going to be making this shift. The first thing is we have to resist the urge to make our fundraising platforms and offerings a one-size-fits-all and expect people to be excited about that. It's a critical piece to creating experiences that are custom. So custom experiences are what your donors are looking to create within your chapter. Another story I'll share with you. A client of mine a while ago was celebrating a 60th anniversary and had sent out sponsorship form to board members, asking them to get engaged in the offer that they had. And they didn't have a lot of response, and they were very frustrated by this. I said, why don't you call your board members who haven't responded and find out why, right? Get their feedback, have a nice one-on-one opportunity with them. And so one of those board members who they reached out to said, you know, this is the first phone call I've really gotten about fundraising. Thank you for making the call. I got your solicitation sponsorship letter, but you don't really know me as an individual. Let me tell you a little something about me. I'm an ultra marathon runner. And what I'd like to do to celebrate the 60th anniversary of this amazing organization that I'm part of is I'd like to run 60 miles and raise $60,000. How would that work? Of course, my client's like, yeah, that'd work really, really well. That would be absolutely terrific. And so it's important that we create experiences that are special, that are, I would offer, unforgettable. That organization created an unforgettable experience for that board member and for that donor, which ended up really changing that culture of philanthropy or creating it even more. So how do we do it? Again, just in closing, a few things to take away. One, you can't overdo recognition. We model by example. We see ourselves in other people's accomplishments, and so never downplay it and second guess it. If you're thinking, oh, that might be not appropriate, etc., second guess it a little bit. Teaching that joy of giving is part of everyone's job description. It should be hardwired and throughout the framework of your organization, but in an intentional way, not a by chance sort of way. It really has to be part of our measurement, our recruitment, our retention, etc. The philanthropic marketplace is vast, right? And your mindset is its magnet. We become what we believe. If you want more of that market share, it's out there for you to attain. Be a unicorn, be unforgettable, create unique experiences, celebrate firsts so you don't celebrate lasts, right? We need to celebrate all the first things that are happening within your chapters for your donors. And then finally, culture is built with intention, strategy, and consistency. You have to stay the course. This is definitely a marathon, not a sprint, but there are things we can do to make it even more attainable and successful. And I'll leave you with this. I love this quote by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Thank you very much.